Now, Typhoon Namadol has killed at least 4 people and injured more than 80 over the weekend. It's been downgraded at the moment to a cyclone. It crossed to the northeastern coast and headed out to the Pacific Ocean. Hundreds of thousands of homes are without power, and at one stage more than 9 million people were urged to leave their homes. Let's cross to our correspondent in Tokyo, Rupert Wingfield-Hayes. Rupert, just tell us how bad it has been and how is it for those affected at the moment?
Yeah, as you say, the Typhoon Namadol has now been downgraded and has broken up over northern Japan. But for the last 3 days, it really has been a monster storm, the like of which Japan has rarely seen, only a handful of other times a storm of this size in the last half century. And it's hit the southern Kyushu island of Kyushu on Sunday, and then it has just churned right across the whole of Japan over the last 2.5 days, and really bringing very destructive winds, 150-mile-an-hour winds, over 200-kilometre-an-hour winds, which have caused quite a lot of damage to electricity supplies and structural damage. But really, the big thing has been the amount of rain. Really astonishing amounts of rain have fallen over western and central Japan. In Kyushu, they measured more than 70 centimetres of rain falling on Sunday and into Monday. And even in Honshu, 40 centimetres of rain fell yesterday over western parts of Honshu. So that's been the major problem, causing a lot of local flooding. There is a concern still about the possibility of landslides and mudslides. As you said, the toll from this has been fortunately very small in terms of loss of human life, but it really has caused massive disruption right across Japan for the last 3 days.
What are scientists saying about linking this with climate change?
Well, they're absolutely linking it to climate change and also to the La Nina phenomenon in the Pacific Ocean this year. We're in a La Nina year which will have exacerbated the size of this typhoon. But really, this is part of a trend which we're very clearly seeing. The data is very apparent. In the late 70s, 1970s, the Pacific Ocean used to produce about 1 super typhoon a year. Now we're seeing between 4 and 5 super typhoons developing in the Western Pacific every year, and that trend is expected to increase. Not only are these storms getting bigger and more frequent, but they are moving further north, away from the equator, towards Japan, China and the Korean Peninsula. And so this part of the world is just getting battered more often by bigger storms.
And Rupert, just in terms of the areas that have been affected, were they heavily populated? And when you see these incredible heavy winds and gusts, gusts and the rain that you mentioned, what is the practical impact of that?
Yeah, I mean, Japan is a very mountainous but also very densely populated country. The valleys and the coastal plains are very densely populated in Japan, and that's why you see these huge figures of 9 million people being told to leave their homes. People go to local evacuation centres, often very close to their homes, to spend the night so that they're in a safe place, and then they'll go home in the morning. So it's not like whole towns or whole cities are being evacuated, but it has affected very large numbers of people, and many people remain today without electricity. And it will take time for everything to get back to normal.
OK, Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, thank you very much indeed.